You're watching Sun TV, broadcasting to the world from studios in Providenciales, in the beautiful by nature Turks and Caicos Islands. Sun TV, your source for real news as it happens.
Premier Dr. Rufus Ewing responds to criticism about his administration's performance since they were elected. More new taxes in the upcoming budget. The Premier sets the record straight regarding an incident with his son at the airport. The new governor should not seek to micromanage the affairs of Turks and Caicos Islands. Minister of Immigration Daine Gardner has advised the Immigration Board to get tough when it comes to issuing new work permits. These are the headlines. I'm Burley Obru, and thanks for watching Sun TV. Almost 7 months after the PNP administration assumed office, there has been widespread criticism that they have not done enough as a government. This criticism has even come from among the ranks of the PNP supporters. In a press conference at the Tourist Board office on Thursday, May 30th, Premier Honorable Dr. Rufus Ewing said he is aware of the criticisms, but he stressed that his administration is doing their best in the circumstances. Here's what he had to say.
Most that we can do in terms of that to the public is that we know that we are doing our best under the guidelines and under the regulations that we had to operate. The financial management systems that are in place, the various aspects of government that is not within our control, the various decisions that we have to make that may not find favor with people in general or certain select groups that are vocal. And not knowing the overall impact that will have, the state of the economy generally. I mean, the economy in terms of employment, it is not easy to turn this economy around and get the level of employment that people are looking for because of the state of the global economy and because of the various financial restrictions that we have to be restricted to. It doesn't look well for us to have to actually commit to put $40+ million into a sinking fund to pay down a loan when we can barely find funds to put into capital budgets so that we can actually be able to stimulate the economy by creating jobs that we would like to create with those funds. And we can't do that. We're not allowed to do that. One of the things that we are working on hard is to see whether or not ways for us to get out of the loan guarantee in the UK loan guarantee so that we can have some flexibility to have more funds going into capital expenditure so that we can have more constructions that are generated and stimulated by government. So those are the things that we are trying to do. You have to do it strategically because we are not only dealing with the governor, we're dealing with the UK government, we're dealing with DFID, we're dealing with FCO. And those are the things that we are dealing with. And there are many tough decisions that we have to make, and sometimes we have to be able to move on. I know some persons would like to see what you call fight. The fight in your meanings that you object to everything, but sometimes objecting to everything don't get you anywhere moving forward. And then we have to look at investors' confidence. Investors' confidence in the jurisdiction when you object to everything and not being welcoming to investors. You have to have the sense of some political stability going forward at the same time while you're having fiscal prudence and proper fiscal management. So I welcome the criticism by individuals, especially those who may be unemployed and whose pocket may not have the extra cash that they're looking for. But it's not going to happen overnight. I told individuals even on the campaign trail that the road ahead is not easy. It's not going to be easy. It's still not going to be easy. But we know, I still have hope based on our outlook and based on our plan that it will turn around. We will turn it around. And persons will be better off in the next short while.
When the budget is delivered in the House of Assembly over the next few weeks, some new taxes will be introduced. Premier Dr. Rufus Ewing says the new taxes will be necessary to raise much-needed funds for the country, especially since VAT was scrapped. But according to the Premier, most of these taxes will not directly affect residents of the Turks and Caicos Islands. We hear more in this report.
Yeah, there will be more revenue-raising measures in the budget, and we stated that before as alternatives to VAT. I will say the public will probably have to absorb more taxes in the short term and the interim for us to move on to get the revenue to actually pay for the services that government will have to provide and to generate the jobs that government will have to create. There will be one or two new taxes and not much increase in existing. Some of them are not against Turks. Some of them are not towards Turks and Caicos Islands. Some are to tourist seeking sort of like broadening of the accommodation tax base, dealing with things like water sports and spas, and as part of the broadening of the accommodation tax base.
Governor Rick Todd and Dr. Rufus Ewing are known not to have the best of relationships. With Todd being replaced by new Governor Peter Buckingham, the Premier stopped short of saying he was happy to see him leave. In welcoming the new governor, Dr. Ewing also had some words of advice for him as it relates to getting too involved in the country's affairs.
We thank the governor for his service to the people of the Turks and Caicos Islands, and we all know the story. I don't need to hash that out. We thank him for his service. We wish him Godspeed in his diplomatic posting that he will be going to. I don't know exactly where. We welcome the incoming governor, Peter Buckingham, and we would just hope that he have the best interests of the Turks and Caicos Islands at heart. We welcome him to Turks and Caicos to enjoy our beautiful by nature people, country, climate, weather, and to do what is right by the people and for the people of the Turks and Caicos Islands. Like I told the governor, his departure comes with mixed reaction because you know what you get, you know what you have, but you don't know what you're going to get. We know that another governor is coming. I really don't. I could just hope for the best and maybe hope for the day when we don't have a governor. I expect for him to just stick to the area of responsibility in terms of good governance and foreign affairs and oversight, as opposed to getting involved in dealing with negotiations and developments and micromanagement. He needs to be hands off. Like this governor needs to be hands off.
Minister of Immigration Daine Gardner has advised the Immigration Board to get tough when it comes to issuing new work permits. Speaking during a press conference at the Tourist Board on Thursday, Gardner said the PNP government is placing great attention on ensuring that Turks and Caicos Islanders are the priority when it comes to getting jobs in their own country.
In the Ministry of Employment Services, we have actually taken the issue of persons seeking jobs, Turks and Caicos Islanders, extremely seriously. Indeed, we have, over the last several months, been seeing how best we could work with employers in accommodating as many Turks and Caicos Islanders as is possible. However, we feel that for the most part, employers in particular, have not been doing all that they could to ensure that Turks and Caicos Islanders and those that have the right to work in this country without the need for a work permit, to ensuring that those persons have the first crack and the first opportunity at employment opportunities. And so what we in the department are now doing, and I've spoken to the Immigration Board about this, is that because the Immigration Board is on the front line, they need to be vigilant and they need to ensure that persons who apply for work permits apply for them where there are legitimate needs, and when there are not legitimate needs that they ensure that Turks and Caicos Islanders are placed in those positions.
Premier Dr. Rufus Ewing has cleared the air on an incident which happened at the Providenciales International Airport last Monday involving his son and a boarding pass to Grand Turk. He said the matter was blown out of proportion, and he blasted Turks and Caicos News Now for being reckless and irresponsible by printing lies about the matter on its online service. Here's what the Premier had to say.
There's been some discussion recently about a situation that allegedly took place at the Providenciales International Airport this past Monday involving myself and the Turks and Caicos. The responsible authorities in the TCIAA, which is TCIAA in the Turks and Caicos, have both issued statements on this matter, making it clear that there were no truth to these false and malicious allegations. I will be happy to forward these releases to any member of the media not yet in receipt of these briefs, in order that they can be aired to the public to clear up any misconception or misinformation. Where I welcome and support the fundamental right of our citizens, political leaders, and media houses to make inquiries on matters that may involve breaches in the law or impropriety, I must however state that we do each other in our democracy a disservice when we make and disseminate reckless and false accusations without a genuine attempt to gather the correct facts. This must be discontinued, and those responsible for the dissemination of information and for the representing and regarding and safeguarding the interests of the public are all equally accountable to the public and should strive to maintain a high professional standards at the very minimum. So I welcome the media to review the statements made by those two particular institutions for the correct information.
I'm Pearlie Brew, and thanks for watching Sun TV News. Join us again tomorrow when we bring you real news as it happens, directly to your computer or mobile device.